Imagine you're standing at the end of a very long runway. Now imagine that you're holding a 13-foot pole vaulting pole. And finally, imagine that about 90 feet away is a bar, perhaps 13 feet in the air, that you've decided you're going to jump over by running as fast as you can down that runway and sticking that pole vaulting pole into a tiny metal box in the ground and then landing in what amounts to be a glorified pillow. A little scary, right? As you all could have guessed, I had you imagine just for a second what it's like to be a pole vaulter. When I stand on that track, I have 100 scenarios running through my mind, 99 of them being different ways I could mess up. 99 ways of me falling or getting shot back into the pit or missing the pole vault completely or having my steps wrong. 99 scenarios of bad outcomes and only one of success. And truth be told, I'm nervous, I'm scared. I don't want to fall. So, why do it? For me, it all boils down to one word: courage. Courage is one of the most important things that we as humans can possess. But for many of us, it's not something that comes naturally. When I was young, I used to think that courage was being fearless. But I've come to realize you can't be courageous if you're fearless, because you can't be courageous if there's nothing that scares us. Courage is not disregarding all notions of safety. Courage, excuse me, sorry, I lost my place. Don't think that you lack courage just because you feel scared. Fear keeps you alive. When you see a bear coming up behind you and you're on a bike in the woods, fear is pedaling those wheels away from that bear and keeping you safe, so it's worth listening to. To have courage is to hear that fear and then do it anyways. Believe me, I definitely feel the fear right now, but I was told I have to do this anyways. So back to the question at hand, why? I'd never really asked myself this before, because to start pole vaulting, you don't really need that much courage. For one, you have a much smaller pole that you hold about halfway up, and you stand 20 feet back instead of 90, and you go perhaps 5 feet in the air. There's no risk involved because falling from that height isn't very scary. It's about as scary as, say, going off a diving board. But as you get better, you go higher, and you have to build courage. I remember when you go over 8 feet for the first time and you fall, you think to yourself, this is a little crazy. I remember when I went over 10 feet for the first time, and I just remember how long it took me to fall on the other side. My personal best is 12 feet in practice, but people can go much higher than even that. A big problem I faced, and still face, is when I fall. Because the next jump, all I can think about is falling. What happens is I run down the runway at less than full speed, and instead of anticipating success, I'm anticipating failure. Because I had thought so much that I would fail, I did fail. And before you know it, I'd strung together a streak of failing. What yesterday seemed achievable now seems impossible. This taught me to learn how to fail. The reason I was failing was because, plain and simple, fear. My courage had taken a hit, and now it was hard for me to find the strength I needed to make this successful jump. The only way out I've found is to just fully commit and go all out. I always take a minute, clear my mind, and take a deep breath. A quote I quite like by Samuel Beckett says, "Ever tried, ever failed? No matter, try again, fail better. When you learn to fall, you can get up again and do it again and again." So, who cares? None of you will pick up pole vault. If you're an adult and you're out of school, I honestly don't know where you would find a pole vaulting pit or a pole vault. And if you're in school, well, track already started, so you missed it. But it's probably because you don't really care about pole vault, and that's fine. What you may care about is courage. When you're a senior and you read Hamlet for the first time, you'll learn that the most important 6 words in the English language are to be or not to be. We all hope that we'll be courageous enough to choose to be, but will we? Find what scares you. For me, it's a bar 12 feet in the air. Find it and jump over it. Not once or twice, but you have to do it dozens of times, until courage is a habit, not a choice. You have to do it until it's so ingrained in you that you don't even have to think to be or not to be. You just choose to be. And when that feels comfortable, push the bar higher. When 9 feet feels routine, raise it. Raise your expectations of yourself. You have to build your courage because you can always go higher. And in order to do so, you have to better yourself. In pole vault, you have to run faster. You have to train. You have to get better techniques so you get the most out of your pole. You have to learn to run in equal-sized steps so that after you've taken 18 steps or so, you're off by no more than a few inches from where you wanted to be. You have to get on that runway and tell yourself, I'm going to jump over that bar. And when you do, you take the first steps into your vault. Commit to the process. Choose to be. Thank you.